In Myrtle Beach, you always go at your own pace. Lie out on the sand, lie out by the pool, go boogie boarding, go surfing, walk the boardwalk, walk the marsh walk, golf at one of 90 golf courses, mini golf at one of 50 mini golf courses, fish off a pier, fish from a chartered boat, go shopping, get drinks, eat the freshest seafood. The list is exhaustive, but the experience isn't. You can go all out or do nothing at all. How you relax is up to you. There is so much to do and explore, whether you're traveling with friends, family, or just yourself. With 60 miles of beach, you're going to find your place. If this sounds like what you need, then this is where you belong.
Trilogy Outdoors.
All right, here we go. Trilogy Outdoors podcast, and we're coming to you live, recorded. We're coming to you from the water, actually. We're doing something new today. We have brought all the equipment out. We got the Tascam, we got the computer, the laptop, we're recording. And I know you're not going to believe us because the audio is so good because I've gotten really good at my job. But we are live from the water, and we are with our good buddies Kevin C. and with Jay Garner from Whitetail Properties. Kevin C., of course, from Black Mingo. Venison processing and taxidermy. And it is mid-July, late July, and have you guys been busy at all?
Busy.
Jay, I know you've been busy. You took a road trip with Whitetail Properties. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah, we had a national sales meeting in St. Louis last week, and it was good to see everybody. We had about 450 people there. Getting there was a little tough with the
flights,
with the airport stuff. Yeah,
you got called in that.
Yeah, that was wild. But we got there. It was great.
Now, when y'all you got some awards too. You won something. You won South Carolina.
I got lucky and won one. The top agent for South Carolina, but they, you work for a country company when the award is a belt buckle, but that's what I won, and I love it. I can't wait to wear it. Hey, that's what I got.
If anybody thinks that Whitetail Properties is anything other than an outdoorsman company, they're crazy because you don't watch TV because you see the show,
right.
Whitetail
That's exactly right.
Properties. But Russ is probably going to end up fighting you for that belt buckle. I saw it. And he has become infatuated with belt buckles after we went to the rodeo.
Yeah. They're cool, man. They're cool.
And he saw some nice ones. And, so listen, I know also you've been busy with properties because every time I talk to you, you're driving out somewhere in the country to go show a property, and you just listed one that does look like a piece of dream property that you mentioned it in the ad for it, but it's a new piece of property over in Mullins or Marion or Dillon or somewhere out that way?
Yeah, I've got a real good one in Marion. It's 337 acres. It's right off of 501, between 38. We're 38 and 501, same road going from Marion to 95 in Atlanta. But it's an old plantation. It's secluded. It had a road, it used to be a county road going through that makes a big loop, but the landowners gated it off. So now it's a private road. So the whole thing, you can't see any of the property from outside. So
that's even better.
Yeah, and I grew up there and never knew that farm was there. But yeah, it's 150 acres or so of tillable land in 3 or 4 different fields, woods all between.
Yep.
But the thing that makes it look so pretty is 25 years ago they did one of those programs where they planted probably 10 rows of pine trees around the outside of every field, so it's uniformed around every field. It just, the aerial photos, just makes it look gorgeous.
Lucas at Lawshee did that.
Yeah.
And in one section, they did the pines around the outside of the field, and if you don't keep that undergrowth cut down,
yep,
it makes for some really good stalking turkey land.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You got some cover to sneak up there on them and everything else, but this place is on water too. Is it near water or is it?
Yeah, it's on Catfish Creek that runs through Marion, and it's got 80 acres of buffer between the fields and Catfish. This all old growth cypress and stuff, and it's probably got water in it now, but in the early part of the summer when we didn't have any water.
Yep.
You know, you could walk through the entire thing. Turkey sign everywhere, rubs everywhere. But yeah, that's a really, really nice piece of land.
Now your listings go on MLS. Is that?
I don't use MLS.
You don't. Okay. So
use
how does
all
somebody
the-
find your list of listings? And as we go on, we're going to talk more about the hunting and outdoors. And if somebody is looking for a great place, you're the man to talk to about it. How do they find out information on your properties?
whitetailproperties.com under Jay Garner, land.com and LandWatch. Those are the ones that most people look at. We pay to have the premium listing. So if you type in Dillon County, Marion County, Horry County, ours will always show up at the top.
Right.
And a little bit bigger.
So you can find more specific stuff if you don't want to drive forever to go find something.
Absolutely.
You can find exactly what's here locally, and it's all done right there in that simple search.
That's exactly right. You can dial it down to acreage, what you want to spend. Like if you want to spend $250, I'd say put in 300. That way you can see the ones that are 259 or 265.
Right.
Anything like that. But that's the way we do it, and we have a lot of success with it that way. Plus, our Whitetail Properties website gets a lot of traction, and it has more information on it. But even on land.com or when you find one of the listings, you can click a link that takes you back to our website, and we'll have in there GPS coordinates,
right.
How far it is to get to all the local towns, how far it is to get to the beach, of course, what kind of game's on it, the exact acreage of tillable land, exact acreage of wooded land, any kind of crop rent, taxes for the year,
Yep.
things like that.
Hey, real quick, just to validate your experience in the world of hunting, what is the biggest scoring deer that you've had scored?
I've got one that's in the South Carolina book that's 135.
That's what I thought. I knew you had something that scored. I knew you had scored one. Yeah. So
that one netted 138 gross 138, netted 135, and then I've got another one that netted 127. I think it grossed 138.
but we're talking South Carolina, y'all. We're not talking Kentucky. I mean, that's a good deer here.
Yeah.
And speaking of a man who has a lot to do and knows a lot about deer and loves seeing them, because he sees dollar signs every time they roll up, and that is Kevin C. Kevin, thank you for joining us and bringing your lovely wife, Miss Libby, with us. We got her busy, by the way. She's on the bow fishing right now, so we're going to get her in here in a little bit. What we're doing, let me tell everybody what we're doing. We're going to be speckled trout fishing starting out. We're waiting about 30 minutes before this tide gets really going good here, moving up, and we are going to. She got a fish? Oh, she got an oyster. So we're waiting on that tide to get going. Then we're going to take a break and come back to you, and we're going to have some people fishing here and hopefully get some trout action going on. But in the meantime, Kevin's here, and, before we get into everything else about the land prep and everything else for the season, let's talk about Black Mingo Black Mingo Processor and Taxidermy. Y'all had a great year this year. I was fortunate enough to bring a deer to you. Gimpy. Unfortunately, we had a name for that deer that I killed. We brought Gimpy to you, and we have been enjoying Gimpy, but it is almost deer season and time to harvest another deer. But you guys, you had a great first year. That was your first year?
I did, yeah. It was a very good first year. Amazing to see everybody that came out and supported us. And, John Snow from out in Hemingway, he had that business for close to 20 years almost. So it's a really cool thing to have him be able to let go of that and let us take over what was his baby.
Yep.
And all in all, everybody's been real great out there. It's been nice to see all the families and kids and even grown kids like myself come out there and still be tickled to death about bringing deer in.
Well, Russ loves coming out there. Russ always talks about the cooler that was full of dead deer, and of course he talks about Murph. Murph the dog.
Old Murph dog.
Old Murph. And we could go on and on talking about Murph. That is one cool dog. It's a Bloodhound Chesapeake or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Bloodhound chocolate mix.
I hadn't seen that.
Have you never seen it?
No.
Oh, dude. Murph is the bomb,
He's
dude.
something. He's
cool.
something special.
I'd like to see him.
Murph is the bomb. And I said all along that if Murph ever had puppies, I wanted to have at least, I know he's got about 20,000 people on list for puppies, but if Murph ever did have puppies, I would like to get on that list until now. Now that I've got 3 dogs at the house right now.
That's right.
But the taxidermy, I noticed this morning, waking up, you've got a post up asking people to come by, and you're finishing up on game from last year, deer, ducks, and everything else. Anything changing for this year for the taxidermy? Still going to stick with the same stuff, deer?
Still sticking with same stuff. I've got in. I'm getting ready to start doing some foxes and bobcats that I'm going to do with like some pheasants and all.
Yep.
For some good buddies and other customers. So I'm really excited about that. But basic stuff. I've had a lot of people ask about fish, and I know a good bit of taxidermists around the area and even down south. The biggest thing I tell people with the fish is I enjoy catching and eating.
Yep.
I love taking a trophy fish and being able to release it. And
Yep.
the nice thing is now you can get all these fiberglass reproductions and all this other stuff that makes the product look just as good, if not better, than the actual
fish.
And I like doing that, so that way, they're still out. You get big breeders and big producers to keep the bloodline of everything going.
With that being said, I mean, you don't mind if I plug Grays, because Grays does a great job taxidermy.
No.
I was actually a agent for them when I was doing charters. We were set up. If you were a charter captain, you were dumb not to sign up. I mean, it's basically free money if you sold one. So I was an agent for them. But when you start looking and comparing prices, if you want a true mount of a fish, you're going to pay pretty good for it. And if you go pick it up yourself instead of shipping it, it's really fair. And you can get some beautiful, you mentioned the art and the details in these fish now that they're doing are incredible. So that is a great thing. But you also mentioned releasing trophy fish. And today, I hope we're going to have an opportunity. The kids released 3 trout over 20 inches the other day. So release over 20. Our good buddies down in Charleston have started. It's a great group. releaseover20.org. I'll make sure I get that right before the show's over. But hopefully we'll get to release a couple, take some pictures and release. But also we are going to keep some fish for y'all to eat.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. God, the DNR puts limits in place, and God does too. But DNR puts limits in place for a reason. And, while I beg to differ with the 10 trout per person, just because I think it's way too many, I do think that trout are great. They're great eating. And if somebody wants to take some decent trout home, some good 16 to 18 inches, 19 inches, we'll do that. But let's try to release anything over 20, and let's hope we catch some.
Yeah.
This place is known for having, this time of the year, we're 1 week out of the full moon. Typically, a speckled trout spawn. I think they spawn on every full moon. I do. But typically where we are, the week after the full moon, for about a week, you can catch them here. And you catch big ones. We're lucky that we got the spot. And it's one reason why we're here 45 minutes early, is to kind of, we're
staking our claim.
We're sitting on the hole. Hey, we're sitting on the hole. Nothing wrong with that. But the main reason I want to talk to y'all, and again, there's so much to go into today, but I do want to talk about land preparation and everything else. Jay, I know you still hunt in some clubs, or do you have property yourself now?
No, I've never been. I don't. I'm too competitive to hunt in a club.
I know.
Competitive with myself, but no, I've only hunted on farms.
But what y'all don't understand is Jay is talking about. We're talking about a guy who puts on a ghillie suit and sits on the ground next to a tree with a. Can I say it? With a pistol.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
With a pistol, a lot of times.
Yeah.
He loves being stealth. He loves stalking and. But with that being said, you got to have the animals there, and food plots and things of that nature are important. Of course, corn helps a lot in South Carolina, being able to do that. But with the drought and everything, I've heard a lot of people, have had issues with their sunflowers, especially inland, obviously, with the sunflower fields and everything else, sorghum, your duck impoundments and everything else. How about that? Let's talk about how's your duck impoundments looking over at your place?
Not as good as they were last year. It's the drought has definitely affected a lot of stuff. Luckily, we can pull in, which we're trying not to. I know a lot of people, if they have good access to the part of the river, pull in from that. I know a lot of people that have been pushing it off until we keep getting more rain, just because they don't want to keep draining out the river a little bit just to flood some ponds. So
right.
I think most people that have any ponds like that, I think they're waiting a little bit to let it kind of settle back in.
Well, you're a member of a private place, but it is public access as far as you can join.
Mhm.
You know, if someone can join real quick. Let's talk about it. What's Lynch's River?
Black
Black
River Hunt
River.
Club out in Kingstree.
Black River Hunt Club. I've had the pleasure of hunting there a couple times with Kevin, and I will say, if I'm not mistaken, did not see some big irrigation set up out there.
Yeah, they got huge irrigation pipes.
Yeah,
all
because
set
you've
up
got
out
to have that if you're gonna, if you're gonna expect the ducks to come in, and no matter what with the drought, you've got to have water. You got to
there.
have a way to
You
get
need
water on.
and you need a little bit of food for them.
Yep. And real quick, what do you typically? What are the crops that y'all plant in there? I know you do corn.
Corn mainly. They did some. I think it's called widgeon grass. They did last year. Or
Yep. Widgeon grass is
grass.
well
Did a little
known.
bit
It's
of that. They had
very
some-
popular. Annandale Plantation manages a lot of widgeon grass down there.
They had some widgeon grass. They did a little bit of rice in the last couple of years, which has helped. They've tried to do that kind of on the outer perimeters, just to kind of keep everything in on some of that corn and millet. Millet's
Right.
another one they do some Japanese and golden.
Millet, that's what I was going to think. And sorghum, somebody was saying sorghum is a good one, but that's for doves more, isn't it?
I think so. I know. I don't know what the consistency is when it's flooded out, but I know a lot of people that plant it for duck fields. I just don't think we've ever had the opportunity to do it.
Well, I've been there. Last year was a good year for y'all.
Yep.
It was a good year. You've got a great footprint. You're located right off of a great river there, and I mean, again, a lot of birds. Bad shooting on my part. Bad shooting. I tend to talk about that a lot, but a lot of bad shooting on my part, and I can't even blame it. I can't even blame it on the night before because I kind of behaved for the most part. It's hard not to because, I mean, you get away and, it's for y'all, it's 2 nights a week. You hunt twice a week. And, of course, everybody enjoys it. When you have that investment, you want to enjoy it. But what a great group of people. Food is incredible out there. Do y'all do a dove field? Do y'all get the dove hunt?
They do, yeah. We got probably about 3 fields, maybe close to 100 acres together planted, maybe even a little bit more than that. And they usually do it. We do a mix of corn and sunflower with that.
Yep.
But with the drought, I know the sunflower, a lot of people, we planted late, which has really helped save us a little bit. I know a lot of guys around us, big farmers and all, they planted probably a couple weeks early, and you can see it in the crops as you're driving by. I mean, it's brown all the way up, to the last 6 inches of it.
Right. Well, your processor is right in the middle of a huge field. How are the crops out in your way?
Good. They did some beans and then the tobacco this year, kind of rotating the crops out, get some different enrichments back in the soil.
Wow, soybeans a great one for deer. I've had a lot of luck in the Lake City, Florence County area hunting over soybeans. Jay, I'm sure you've hunted soybeans a lot over.
Absolutely, you can't beat soybeans. In the early part of the year.
What is crazy, I have seen more doves out there with soybeans and tobacco than I did last year with corn.
Really?
Wow.
I swear to you, it is the craziest thing.
Now, I have hunted right down the street from you with the Stuckies from Stuckey Tractor. I hunted with them one year, and obviously they had sunflowers and everything planted, but around the outside of it was all tobacco, and I mean there were a lot of birds there. There were a lot. I know the tobacco wasn't pulling them in there, but there was a lot. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that sucks is getting on your belly and crawling under to a big, thick tobacco plant to look for a bird.
It's better than the beans, though.
Beans are painful.
Beans are tough to find a dove in.
Beans are painful too. How about food plots for deer? I want to talk about that as well. Do you do any food plots at all, or you?
Every now and then. Most of the time, the farms that I hunt on are active row crop farms, so they're already planted in either cotton, tobacco, corn, beans, or peanuts. So I'm real lucky that I get a food plot that somebody else has already planted. But yeah, that when you were talking about beans earlier, not only are beans great for hunting this in the early part of the year, but this time of year, you can see what you have. The deer will be standing in the bean fields at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and obviously the bucks are all wadded up. So you can find, what's just by glassing. If you go to your places, sit there, 6 o'clock till dark or whatever with the binoculars and, find what you got. And then that's a huge if you like getting out there for opening day, whether you're shooting bow or gun. Our season comes in what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, August 15th with
Yep.
with the bow. So, you need to start putting your cameras out in June or May, or
Yep.
you can get them on that good pattern, and you got about 2 weeks that you can try to shoot one with velvet in it.
And we probably should have been putting corn out a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and even longer.
But it's not too late now.
No, it's not too late. It's never too late. But the cameras are important. And Kevin, I know you don't get a lot of time to deer hunt. I know you're always busy, but game cameras are important. And I mentioned Gimpy that I harvested last year and brought over to Black Mingo. Gimpy was a deer that had gotten shot early in the season by a young lady whose rifle was off. I mean, she was an incredible shot. She's killed plenty of deer. Gimpy was wounded, and we watched Gimpy for 2.5 months, and we thought he was on the, upward. He was coming up. We thought he'd gotten some motion back in his leg, and then I was hunting and watched him come out, and he had no motion in that leg, could barely lean over to eat, and so I had, after a couple text messages and a tear or two, I had to dispatch him, which, praise the Lord, I didn't miss, because we were talking about
that would be bad.
I get the shakes. Okay, if you don't get the shakes hunting, I don't care. You shouldn't be hunting, but I get the shakes. It just happens. Whether it's turkey, whether it's deer, I get the shakes.
I think if you ever lose that feeling, you need to hang it up.
That's right.
That's the best feeling of anything.
And that's just like with this, what we're getting ready to do here in a minute, is catching these trout. I get just as excited today as I did 5-6 years ago to catch a 21-inch trout. And it is, whether I keep it or not or kill it. I can't stand. My problem is the people that they want, and it's a lot of kids. It's friends of mine, my kids' friends that get on the boat, and everything we catch, they want to kill it. Like they just think it's got to go in the ice, and I'm like, why? I just want to take a picture with it. Well, we can take a picture with it right here live. Let's let it go.
Sure.
Because you went gigging last night. We'll talk about it. Y'all went gigging last night. You harvested 2 fish, okay?
Yeah, 2.
For all you out there that think they brought 42 fish back and whatever boat limit, they brought 2 fish back. But you talked to several other boats that only had 1. And despite what everybody thinks, I think that selective gigging, where you can actually choose what you're going to stick, it's, when done correctly and done within the laws, is great. I think it's a sport. It's I don't get up and do it. I mean, y'all were out till 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Y'all came back last night. You were out late. It's a sport, and I think everybody should be able to do it. And I hate that y'all didn't see more, because I really would say that, if you listen to Trilogy Outdoors radio show last week, Jason Burton said this is the best year he can remember in 10 years flounder fishing. So maybe they just weren't moving last night. Maybe they weren't active. Maybe they moved to the jetties. I don't know. The water temperature where we're sitting right now is 80 degrees. We've had a cool morning. Even touched 63 this morning here. But there are a lot of flounder in here. DNR set net in here, 450-yard net last week for a flounder count, and I'll be anxious to see the numbers. It's the first time in all of their surveys that they have ever set a net in Murrells Inlet for flounder.
Really?
No kidding.
The number one, I'm going to be a little biased here. The number one flounder fishery in South Carolina, I think, when you talk about number of flounder, number of boats, and number of catches, and this is the first time they've ever done it. Thanks to our good partner, Senator Goldfinch, for putting a little pressure to them.
Yeah.
Once he learned that they were stopping in Winyah Bay. They were never coming north of Winyah Bay, which we all know how good Pawleys Inlet can be. Pawleys Inlet's great fishing. North Inlet.
Cherry Grove's great, too. Yeah.
Cherry Grove is incredible. Yeah, they've been doing good up there, by the way. Yeah, Cherry Grove has been doing good. That's where all our friends from North Carolina have to come now, because they can't keep them.
Well, that's where I told you Luke Bass that works for me.
Yeah.
He caught a 29-inch finder over there.
That's where he caught it, up there? You know exactly where? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We don't give away locations. But I am going to say one thing, because I do want to take a pause real quick, and we'll listen to some words from our good friends at Southern Crown and Michelob Ultra while we get set up, because I think we're going to get some people floating. We got some good current starting to move now, and I'm probably going to move the boat a little bit forward, because where we're sitting is at a ditch mouth, and I normally like to start a little bit forward, and then I'll work my way back, just feeling out where the fish are. But I didn't want to crowd out my kayak guy here, who probably is not happy with us because we did pull in here. But, oh, well, hey, he's got plenty of water to fish. And the last time I checked, every kayaker on their YouTube videos claims that they can fish places that we can't. So
That's right.
bye-bye and go to that place. Hey, all right, let's get some rods baited up here, and let's get to doing some fishing, see if we can't catch something.
Sounds good, E.
All right, y'all, we'll be right back on the other side of the break. This is Trilogy Outdoors Podcast. Don't go anywhere. Michelob Ultra and Myrtle Beach wholesaler Southern Crown Partners Incorporated know our consumers enjoy relaxing days on the water with Mich Ultra's crisp and refreshing taste in hand. It's important to remember to drink and boat responsibly. Choose to be or to designate a sober skipper before leaving the dock. Do it for your family and friends, your passengers, and everyone else on board. Michelob Ultra salutes all sober skippers who take the pledge. Cheers, and we'll see you on the water. All right, well, we're going to bring it back in with a little bit of Sean Bilton in, I guess. But we are back, and Trilogy Outdoors Podcast. Go to Trilogy Outdoors Media. Check out everything we offer.com, by the way. And make sure you like, subscribe, download, share, do all those things with it. But we are back on the boat here on the Key West 250 Bay Reef from Marshall's Marine, and I've got Jay Garner, Kevin C., and Libby C. with me, and Libby has just put a monster trout in the boat, and as luck would have it, we were not live when it happened, but we will have pictures for proof, so don't worry about that. But we are back to trout fishing, and you know, for anybody that doesn't know, well, I love adjustable depth bobbers. I love floating a bobber. I guess it's you know, all three of us have agreed that growing up in bobber fishing, it's just fun to watch that bobber go down. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot more fun when you set that hook on something that's a little bit bigger than a brim, though.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, Miss Libby had her hands full on that one, and I'm going to go ahead and say that fish is 22.5 to 23.5 inches long, probably touching 5 pounds. A really nice speckled trout. We've got it in the live well up there so we can get some pictures of it, but we want to continue to fish. And again, great thing about this fishery here that we're on is it's real tidal. They're historical fish, and I say that in the sense that I remember 15 years fishing right here, same time of the year, same tide and everything, and trout are their own worst enemy because they are so historical. What you got there? Oh, that was the bottom.
Me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep, that was bottom. All right, so
Sandbar, right?
Yep, on the sandbar. So, all right, let's go back to talking our prognostication for the fall and hunting season this year. What do you guys think what are your overall feelings for the kind of year we're going to have? And Kevin, I didn't even ask you, how do you feel last year was in comparison to years in the past? I know this is your first year with the taxidermy and the processor, but I'm sure you and Mr. Snow talked, and you know, as far as numbers and everything else, do you feel like it was a good year? Or?
It was a very good year for how I think John was running it the last couple of years. I think a lot of people were excited to try to get something new being around that area.
Right.
I also tried to get as much meat back as possible, which was a very promising lead from pretty much everybody that was out there. They were extremely happy.
That's important. That's important.
I mean, you shoot a nice deer, you want to try to get as much meat back as possible.
Yep.
And I can attest to that because before I had the processor, that's what I was hoping for.
That's what you
time.
wanted.
That's what I was hoping for every time.
That's the other thing is, you know, I think when an outdoorsman or a hunter gets into processing or taxidermy, you know, I mean, you had enough mounts prior. You know what you want one to look like,
yeah.
You know? So
I like it. It gives it a kind of a different depth whenever you're going to it, because I was from the customer side, the consumer side, before I was into the business aspect of it. So
yep.
I can understand where any frustration or excitement would be coming from somebody
right.
getting stuff done.
So as far as like the drought that we're having and experienced in particular,
Got one.
Jay's got something. Oh, both of you. As far as the drought goes right now, what do you think as far as you know, the season, the year for deer and for doves and ducks and everything else? Do you think it's going to affect it that bad, or are we not at that point yet?
I don't think so. I mean, the nice thing is you can still pull a bunch of water from a lot of places. I mean, with that,
And we got water now. I mean,
it's
rained every day for the last two or 3
Yeah.
days.
It's been steady, and everything's starting to come back up. Even driving across the counties, you can see where the rivers have already started gaining back some feet on them from where it was a couple months ago.
Jay grew up out in the area of that little PD where everybody's been putting the pictures up of, where they're walking through it and crossing one side to the other and not having to swim or use a boat.
To that. There's one benefit to that. I mean, when you got water, you can use your boat. When it's down, you can get out there and fish. The less water there is, the easier it is to find the fish. That's for sure.
That is true.
We always like to get my dad and I get into a little PD because it's the sand bottom, and fly fish. So we walk with popping bug. It's my favorite thing to do, and hit the little holes of water. You can tear the red breast. I mean, red breast is our favorite thing to catch, but little bass, of course, brim. But I mean, that's fun. It's something you can't do when the water's high.
Nope.
So I mean, it's always. And
then you look at this. So look at all the people that were out there getting pottery and arrowheads and different things of that have been on the bottom. I mean, of course, you got to think that at some point, our ancestors, the Indians or whatever, were along that river. Probably, did a lot around that river. So therefore, there's probably a lot of their markings and such left in the river, and you're able to find it.
That's right.
But I tell you what. Going back to the fishing real quick, I'm kind of liking these double bobbers, these double bobber setup because I can see it a lot further. Mm-hmm. And like Miss Libby now is back there, 75 yards away, and I can see hers clear as a bell. But I do think that versus the single bobber where a pinfish can still get it underwater, and so when you're getting a hit like with these, I think because of the way they bounce around. Sometimes we're not seeing it. Oh, that's a good one.
Feel anything pulling back?
I think you got the whole shrimp too. I think you got the whole shrimp, dude. I feel like that was a trout.
That was a trout. I missed him.
No, probably not. Yeah, doggone pinfish. But my good friend Ronald over at Inlet Rocks hooked us up with some shrimp. We got plenty of shrimp, and I always said a bait shop's best friend. Bait shop's best friend are the pinfish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure.
They do keep them busy. Look at, she lost hers too. Here we go. I can just stay right here and do the show from the bait tank. I'll just keep baiting hooks right here.
You're doing a good job there, Captain.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I started off years ago. I was a junior baiter, and finally, I have made masturbator. I have made the cut, and I am now the masturbator. I'm going to have to get the shirt. I'm going to have to get a shirt for that one. But with that being said, so let's talk about doves. You guys, either one of y'all do a lot of dove hunting? Do y'all get out and hunt? I know that
I love
opening weekend.
That's my favorite thing to do. I don't have a field this year of my own, but yeah, that's the first thing my dad ever took me. Any kind of hunting was dove hunting.
Yep.
I love dove hunting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know
wing shooting. It's a fun sport.
I know it's a lot of fun, and I typically get that invite for that first hunt, Labor Day, and I'll tell you, it can be some of the most hot and torturous weather, but it is so much fun. And I got that new little 16 gauge over under that is absolutely a blast to shoot. And I shoot way better with an over under than I do with an automatic. And I don't know why it is. I really don't know why. But I shoot a lot better with it. I mean, even the guys that I hunt with typically on opening day all said it. I mean, they watch me, dropping them left and right. And it got so bad or good that I was very loud and celebratory in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
But, they let me get under the power line. Thank you, Scott Todd. They let me sit under the power line, which we all know. The power line is like the magnet for doves. And so good or bad, as you want to call it, that a lot of people started putting fake power lines out.
Oh, yeah. You see that all the time.
Yeah, the old dummy lines. Here we go. But I love eating doves.
Doves are a very good meal. You can get the I know out in like Williamsburg County, I think Santee Electric, you can actually buy the old telephone poles and put them up.
And
from
put
out
them up.
there.
That would make sense.
They bring their old telephone poles back. And
Now, have you guys gone so far as to put artificial decoys on the power lines?
I've seen people do it. I've never
my
done it.
God!
Yeah,
I went with it.
one of the first times I ever went dove hunting, I thought it was the craziest thing. A fellow that worked for my father at the time,
Yep.
he would put them on an old Zebco 33
On the fishing rod, you
and
cast it
throw
over the power line.
Throw it on the power line and bring it in.
Yep.
Got something here, E?
You got Jay?
Ah, they got 'em.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. That fishing rod thing works great, and you just throw them up there and set them, and then lock the rod to where they sit like they're on the power line and go to town. And I have done that. My good friend Captain Shannon Curry taught me that one.
I'd never hunted over a mojo dove until last year.
Oh, they will
Yeah.
break their neck.
Yeah,
They will break their neck to get to it.
that made me a believer
Mm-hmm.
after seeing that last year.
The Mojos, I got them last year. The little
You got the wing?
flipping
wing. Yeah.
and that does just as good, I believe.
It does. So I've got the double mojo, and then I've got 6 of the little wings. So I got the double mojo that's on the pole. Got the one that sits up top and flies in circles, and then I got the one that sits down on one arm coming off of it like he's landing. And then I've got the little wings, spinners, the little spinner that's just a wing flopping. And they'll come flying over the pine trees and get near the field. Oh, wow. Jay, whatever that was, took off with it, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
I mean, took off with it. Wow. Look at that.
They're killing me.
Hey, we're going through shrimp. We're going through shrimp.
I took Samuel last year. He killed his first dove.
Did you? All right, what'd
Yeah.
you start him with? What's a good gun to start him with? Russ has got a 410
Shot
pump.
410. That's the first thing I started with was one that was, I think, my great granddaddy's. It was a
Yep.
full choke Springfield. If you hit him, you knock him down.
Yeah, you knock them down.
But yeah, that's what he was shooting last year, and he ended up killing, I think, 8. So first time he ever
Wow.
shot one, but
Dang, good on him.
Go,
yeah,
Sammy.
he was hot.
Wow. Yeah, Russ has got a 410 pump, but I think we're going to shoot it as a single shot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
He still has trouble shucking and putting in another shell, so I think we're just going to set it up and let him shoot one at a time. But this will be his first year with not having the BB gun out there. Last year he tried to take the pellet gun. I tried to explain to him, you cannot take the pellet gun. I said, dude, that thing's more deadly. He's out there with a Gammo wanting to shoot it head high across the field. Oh, come on.
I think the pinfish.
The pinfish are winning right now. They are. That's all right. Hey, we gotta deal with them.
That's right.
Pinfish need to eat too.
I don't know if Russ could shoot a dove out of midair with a BB gun. I think I'd
Yeah.
be bringing him to Canada and a bunch of
Yeah.
places. Argentina, going out there and shooting 1,000,000 doves with a little BB gun.
Oh God! I'll tell you what.
We didn't have a bird dog growing up, so that was what my brother and I got to take the BB gun, and my daddy would shoot one. We'd go over there and shoot it until it quit moving.
Yep.
But I remember a couple of times us eating dove at the table and somebody bite into a BB.
BB?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also remember I don't know if it was the first dove I ever shot, but it was in that same time frame. I shot one with the BB gun, and I'm pretty sure my dad shot it. It went into a tree. I snuck under the tree, shot it, fell down. I put it in my little vest or whatever. We get in the car on the way home. I pull it out, looking at it or whatever. It comes back and starts flying around the car.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was they bring that up all the time.
Oh yeah, I used to get a hard time about. Oh, here we go. Pinfish. Yep. Doggone it. You got it?
I got you.
All right. Let him go get that. Yeah, so sitting under the tree is pretty good, too. I found myself doing that 2 years ago. I went to a DNR Game Warden Law Enforcement Officer fundraiser over in Darlington, and I sat next to some trees, and it's hard. It's hard not to wait till they land.
Yeah. Well, when they're backpedaling, that's
When they're backpedaling, I like to wait for it. You know, I'm gonna give him a chance to sit down. But you can't. Yeah.
Might have to save that one and put them on the.
That one looks like it's edible. I know. Ronald and I were talking about it. We do have a lot of shrimp in the creek right now, and they are larger shrimp. Typically, this time of the year, you'll have to throw the net a bunch to weed through. But the other thing I like to do is I love fishing with shrimp that are from here because these trout are here to eat these shrimp. They're not here to eat some big 4.5, 5-inch shrimp that's coming up from Georgia. When the bait shops are buying them, which they have to because we don't have shrimp here at times of the year. But right now, while they're here, using these, it's perfect, match to hatch. The other thing you could do, I don't think you catch as many fish, is you can sit right here and put voodoo shrimp under that. Float a voodoo shrimp or float some of those artificial shrimp and catch trout. You'll eliminate pinfish for the most part, but I think you eliminate a lot of fish.
Right.
And that's why I'm just willing to sit here and float and let these pinfish wear me out, make you say some choice words. I think Miss Libby got pinfished a minute ago. We'll see. And the other thing that I forgot is we've probably gotten another foot of water, so I'm gonna slip both of your bobber stoppers down a little bit when it comes back. You got a pinfish, don't you?
Me?
Yeah.
I think I picked up an oyster or something.
Or an oyster. I mean, oysters aren't bad, but this time of the year, I don't eat them. Something's going on with Miss Libby's.
They're elusive, though. They're hard to catch.
They are hard to catch. Hey, I got a good friend, McClure Hopkins. Poor kid.
See?
Stepped on one. Yep, you got one. You got bait still? No. McClure stepped on one here shortly ago, and he has been nursing some stitches and antibiotics and such.
There it is.
Oh. It's not.
Oh, I mean that
It's
first
fighting.
That
first one was an
might have-
exception.
Might have been a little.
FYI, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we weren't on live at the time because I couldn't say my wife just shattered any records I had of
Yeah.
catching sea
Yeah.
trout.
You heard me say that's the biggest one I've ever seen.
Oh, what is it? Pinfish? No, it looks longer. It's a trout. It's a speckled trout. It's a, I think. Yeah, it's a short one. Here, let me get the net. Here we go. Look at there. There's a speckled trout. He's teetering on the edge of legal, but we'll let him go. And come here, buddy.
Congratulations, Libby.
I tell you what, them things sure are pretty though when they got all them speckles on.
They are beautiful when they get, yep. And you can hear her right now making her noise. They are in the drum family. Yeah, I hear Libby over there making noise. See if you can hear it. No, just barely, but they make a drumming noise, just like a black drum or a red drum. All right, trout number 2. All right, Jay, you're kind of getting your butt kicked, dude.
Tell me about it.
There we go. All right. Little Trilogy Outdoors, fins, fur, and feathers. Talking fur. Oh, wait a minute.
I think we got one now. Let's get him all the way to the boat, though.
What is this one? I don't like how he's coming in so quick.
That's a tarpon.
Oh, look at that, Jay.
That's a monster.
Yeah, be careful with that thing now.
You reckon you could
I'll
mount
get
that,
him.
Kevin?
Yeah, you can mount that.
Yeah, I think
best-
I'd take him and have to call you about 6 months later and say he magically disappeared somewhere.
Hey, the best place to mount one of those is inside of a 25-pound grouper stomach.
Yeah. I thought you were about to say an aquarium.
That is. Great spot. Good old pinfish. Spotted pinfish. The other fish that she called a minute ago is a cousin to the pinfish, but it is a pigfish. And it was making a little bit of grunting noise, but it's not in the grunt family. She get all her shrimp back? Looks like it.
Looks like it.
Yep. Oh, no. Something got it. Something had it.
No,
There we go.
What about a pigfish and a hogfish? Are they related?
Nope. Hogfish. Oh, boy, I will take one of them any day. That's what Stephen went after today instead of coming to do the podcast with us. Stephen is offshore diving, and that is what he's after. Hogfish, lobster, of course, gag grouper being closed right now for some reason. Thank you, South Atlantic Fisheries Management Council, for another crazy decision that I'll never understand, but they are closed. Red snapper, obviously, like he said, he'll get attacked by red snapper on the way down, but they're endangered. Just crazy. All right, so talking regulations real quick.
I was going to say, speaking about not understanding why people put stuff in place.
Yep.
I'm sure everybody now has heard the DNR rule with having to put in your confirmation number after you harvested the deer.
Yep. So that's going in that computer, right? Into that app that we have.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, that's all going to be on the app. And
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I heard about it from Facebook, if that tells you anything. So.
Dude, listen. It's to the point now where, like, Nick, our buddy Nick Lopes, and I think you know Nick, I think, but Nick hunts just across the state line, and typically would bring his deer into South Carolina to get harvested, to get processed, but now he can't. Now it's this new law is going to change that, but we're still allowed our $2 a year, or is it 3? And then
2 and
3, and then
3 and
get the 2 other tags.
You can
buy.
Yeah, you can get your extra doe tags too.
Oh, that's right. So, and are there still, in fact, doe days like there used to be, or not?
You can shoot. Is there? I don't.
No, it comes in. Bow season's August 15th. Gun season starts September 1st, and then doe season comes in September 15th.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing the days and stuff anymore. Maybe for the some of the
like either sex days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're
But
doing.
Your tags come with what? 4 tags.
4 does.
4 does
and $2, right? Is that what you get? Is that correct? I can't remember.
It was $3.
Okay, maybe it is $3.
We'll go
I don't know.
2.5.
Hey, can I just tell you one thing? I've never had to worry about it.
Yeah.
It was just like turkey tags. Like, I don't know why y'all all complaining about 3 to 2, because I've never had to worry about it. I'd much rather see everybody else fill their tag when it comes to turkey. I'd rather be the one guiding. Let's make sure I'm getting tangled up here. I don't want to pull that computer off. There we go.
I think I put more turkey and deer tags on my gun safe and walls than I do on
an animal. Oh, I caught a Miss Libby.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever run out of buck tags or doe tags. I mean, if you look at other states and then you look at ours, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Oh.
Sorry about that.
Oh, Miss Libby. Yeah, we both got it. All right.
You can kill a lot of deer illegally in South Carolina.
Yep. And I'll tell you, talking about that, when I went to Kentucky, I was amazed up there at how, pretty much, if you want to report your deer, you can. If you don't want to report your deer, you don't have to. It was crazy, but dear Lord, 200, I think we were in for right at $220 for our license. And, God, the pinfish are way out there. Hang on, let's see what she's got. Yep, pinfish. Yep. But Kevin, what's your biggest deer that you've killed?
Probably a 500 class. No, it was at our family property last year. Actually, I shot he was an old 8. We watched him for probably 3 or 4 years now, but he was probably
there. He is. That's
old.
A trout. That might be nope, pinfish. Yeah.
He was probably 3 years old by the time we got that property, so he was about 6. So he already started somewhat decreasing in his horn size a little bit. But he was 212 pounds.
Oh wow!
And about 19 inches across. But he was very short tined. But
well, what was the? I'm trying to remember, and I was there that day. I want to say, did you guys have a buck with no nuts or a doe with nuts brought in?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was.
Whatever,
I knew.
whatever you would call that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was a buck with no nuts.
Yep. Have you had? Did you get any piebald or albinos?
We got a piebald calico this year, which was I actually just did a mount for him,
Wow.
and it turned out sweet. That is a very beautiful creature.
It is a beautiful creature. It's amazing that they survive that long. I've seen some piebald calico does. I've never seen a buck.
It's amazing too, because he had really good size to him.
Because a lot of times they're smaller.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I wonder why. I mean, I guess the genetics and everything else, but I wonder if they kind of get shunned by the other deer because they look so different. You know.
Like Rudolph?
Huh?
Like Rudolph?
Like Rudolph.
Like
Yeah, like
Rudolph.
Rudolph. Poor Rudolph. Poor old Rudolph. All right, Jay, come on. You got to catch a trout before we quit here. Oh, that's him. That's him. That's him. That's him.
That's not him.
Nope. Doggone it.
I saw it. That was a mullet back there jumping.
Was it? Big mullet back there jumping. Well, it's that time of the year. Late July, early August. We're going to get the mullet runs going to get going here. And then mine and Kevin's favorite thing to do is go catch some spinach.
I was about to say, you know what the mullet
Yep.
rush is bringing.
Yep. Yeah, that live coming for spinach is fun. Jay, did we go do that last year?
No.
No, we didn't, did we?
No, we didn't do that. What about the gator tag? Did you get one?
Did y'all get lucky enough?
I didn't. No, I had a mutual friend of mine from Conway actually ended up pulling one.
Oh, really?
Do you process them?
We'll do alligator and bear.
Bear.
That's right,
we took
bear.
In, we took in 6 bear out of the 30 last year in the state,
That's awesome.
which was pretty awesome.
Yep.
And talk.
Jay,
I don't.
did you get bear tag?
Well, now anybody can get the bear
Yeah,
tag.
you can.
Oh, and it just
yeah.
goes off who kills them first.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
I got
They opened it, and I think it closed in like 6 days. 6
Yeah, I
7
knew it
days,
was. I
something
knew it wasn't
like
long
that.
at all.
Yeah, once they changed that law about being able to bait them, that changed the whole.
All you gotta do is go buy $2 worth of honey buns,
Yeah.
put them out there, or a pack of pinwheels. A pack of pinwheels. Put some peanut butter out there. Man, I've seen a lot of people put game cameras up with some incredible bears on them, though. Oh, that looked like a trout. That's a trout. There we go.
one?
That's a trout. That's a good one. That's another good one. Oh, yeah. Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He started going the other way now. Jay,
Making me look
are
bad.
you
over here.
embarrassed yet?
Real embarrassed?
Are you embarrassed yet?
I'm used to it.
Oh, look at that.
Good fish. Good Lord, that's, a good
one. Yeah. Here we go. I'll
Look at
take him and go put him in the live well.
She's just slinging it in. She don't even.
I know.
She don't
I
even
love
need
it.
me.
Go, Livy. Go, Livy.
That's awesome.
Go,
She said,
Livy.
I got a 3-year-old and
Oh.
I'm fishing right now.
Yep. Come here.
You doing some fishing? You doing some catching too?
Yeah, she's kicking your butt. Give me a little bit of slack if she'll open that up. I can get. Oh, there we go. All right.
Got it.
Fight that hook. I'll go up here. Make sure I don't pull the sound equipment down, and get him in the live well. There we go. Way to go, Livy. All right. Well, that's fun. What I say, pin, spur, and feathers, and we talked plenty of feathers, talked plenty of fur, and now we're catching the fins. Go, Libby. Go, Libby, go. All right, real quick, before we end, let's tell everybody how to get in touch with y'all. Jay Gardner, how they get in touch with you. They want to go check out a dream property and get you to help them, or if they want to list property. You know, we've got a lot of families that don't hunt, that
Please call me.
unfortunately inherit the family farm and want to get rid of it. That's your specialty.
They may be worth way more than you think.
That's right.
You know, land's gone up, and it just keeps going up. So 843-230-7119. Just call me anytime.
That's right.
Call me, text me. Email is jay.garner, jaygarner@whitetailproperties.com.
There you go.
But feel free to call me anytime.
All right. Best. When you guys going to be opening up, Kevin?
September 1st.
All right. So you are going to open up September 1st.
September 1st, the D-Day to start it all off again.
All right. September 1st. And if anybody wants to bring any game out there or any deer heads to get mounted or anything, how can they get in touch with you?
Y'all can give us a call at 843-558-5157. We also have social media accounts on Facebook and Instagram. You can message us on that. Just look up Black Mingo Venison Processing Taxidermy.
Yep.
Or just stop by out there on Radio Road and come see us.
Go check it out. I'm telling you, it's a great time. Russ loved it. Russ had just as much fun just going out there and checking it out. Uh-oh, Jay. Uh-oh, you got him?
No.
Oh, man, I was hoping you were going to end on one.
Yeah,
Yeah, speaking of which, if you just keep your eye out for that social media for Black Mingo, you'll see Miss Libby doing some videos this year because I suggested it's a great idea. So we'll see what happens with that. Hey, anyway, listen, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to catch some more fish, but we're going to give you guys back to the airways here. Remember, make sure you like, subscribe, download. We've got to have you download it. That way we get those numbers and we can get counted. Download the podcast every time and share it with all your friends or visit TrilogyOutdoorsMedia.com. And remember, every Saturday morning, 8 to 10, Trilogy Outdoors Radio Show on the Gator 107.9. All right, we're going to get out of here. This is Trilogy Outdoors Podcast, talking fins, fur, and feathers.
Trilogy Outdoors Podcast is a product of Trilogy Outdoors Media. All views and opinions of our hosts and guests are not necessarily those of our sponsors. Trilogy Outdoors is produced and edited by Trilogy Outdoors Media. Be sure to follow us on all the podcast platforms as well as our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And also don't forget our other brands, Southern English Radio Show and Walk 'Em All Outdoor Magazine. To find more information, visit TrilogyOutdoorsMedia.com. And remember, if it's anything dealing with fins, fur, and feathers, you're going to find it right here on Trilogy Outdoors.